So good evening, friends. Once again, welcome to this episode number 8. Allow me to share my screen so that I can begin the proceedings. And we are live. Yeah, just wanted to check it. Yep. So this is Financial Pain Point Marathon Completion Series. So episode number 8, the FPMP series. So all my presentations always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty who's given me much more than what I deserve. And of course, big thanks is due to my dad who has been instrumental in teaching me the clinical part of finance. Just a sec, guys. So big thanks is due to my dad as well, who has been instrumental in teaching me the clinical part of finance. So at any point of time, if you feel that I'm not audible or visible, please let me know, and I'll do it. I'll change the settings, whatever it is. Let me just check whether I'm live or not. Just a minute. Yes, Dr. Ramesh. Good morning. Good evening. Yep. Okay. So audio settings. Yep. Yep. Okay. So this is my brief CV. All are aware of it by now. Let us not stop here for briefing. So this is episode number 8 and webinar number 269. We are doing this series episode 7 onwards, and today is episode number 8. So what I'm base for today, quickly get a pen and a paper, and of course keep noting down the main points. Listening never helps. Writing always helps. Those who make notes will surely make notes, and of course you may need to post your takeaways for those who entertained. So the learning objectives for today, the learning objectives are just to finish the survey pain points. It's already 6 months. Although we have made our best efforts, but still our best efforts are not the best by that standard that we can finish these things. It's taken about 6 months. So I took it on the onus to complete it by the year end. So I posted the queries as it is, as has been done by my staff. So I've requested them to don't change any spelling so that the audience can identify with the words whichever they are written. So we're doing this FPMP series in the evening, 267, 69, 71, 73, and 75 number episode. And of course, this is part 8 or episode number 8. So webinar number 269 overall. And of course, a disclaimer that there will be some practice pain points as well. Participants have posted and mixed all the queries, but I have still tried to answer, ignoring the title, whether it is a finance session or a practice session, and without being biased in that sense. So we finished, just let me go back, and we did till query number 96. We are doing medium priority or moderate priority pain points. We finished till query number 96 from Pune. So I'll be continuing from query number 97. So I had a real busy day, so I could not write down the main points to the answer, but I'll answer them extempore. So normally I write the answers in the finance, but I've not written it here, but I'll try to answer it extempore as I do in the practice pain points. So query from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Too much of new clinics in surround. Newcomers have very less charges. So charges that we have increased step by step gradually. So since so many years are now not easily accepted by the patients. Also, corporate chain clinics through massive online marketing are capturing patients, mainly the younger generation. Patients are nowadays not easily trusting us due to the media news coming frequently stating that only the negligence of doctors highlighted too much. This is in back of the mind, creating the fear that if something went wrong, it will finish the career. So due to which my approach to the patients also is becoming more and more like consumer and not of a patient. And I refrain myself from difficult or complicated patients, which I was easily handling in the past. So let me just go back. See, clinics will keep on opening up and clinics will keep on closing as well. So it's not that everyone is successful in private practice. They will keep on opening and closing. It is an individual perspective how we look at it. Newcomers, if they are if they have kept charges low, kindly make them aware. As a senior, it is your duty to make them aware that yes, you are charging low, so it'll burn your back, it'll burn your break your neck sooner or later. And if not, please make them go through my GPM and NPM videos. I am a third party to them. I am not you can say known to them, so I may not be known to most of them, so just forward them my videos, so take an initiative on your behalf. So if they are, you can say, forthcoming, if they understand certain things about the profession, they will understand that charging low can be really dangerous in the long run, especially if they want to keep a green balance sheet which is in positive zone. So sometimes people ask me, where lies the problem? Corporate chains are, through massive online marketing, are capturing patients. And when I say dentist to market, they say we don't need to market. Why should we market? We are doctors. We are doing word of mouth. Absolutely. Word of mouth is a great way of getting patients. But then all word of mouth also don't turn into your patients. They sometimes end up as queries or leads only. Number one. Number two, it is the world post-COVID which has changed and shifted to your phone or devices, maybe around 6-7 inch device, whatever you can say. So if the world has changed, you also need to change your ways. So if the corporates are doing marketing, you may not do that much aggressive marketing, but you need to be at least visible. You can't treat the whole world. You can't treat even all the patients in your area. So forget that. There is ample work for most of us. The only thing is, we need to be confident, we need to be skillful. The problem is there is no dearth of dentists, as people say, but still that dearth or number is limited to 3 lakhs. Even I believe all are, you can say, practicing. My batch of 60 in 1998, when we passed out, about 6 or 7 are practicing. 53, 54 are not practicing. So I'm not saying that every batch this is the same story, but on an average, I believe that about 60 to 70% of the registered dentists with the DCI are practicing. That puts the number at close to 2 lakh, 2 lakh 10,000. If I put the total number at 3 lakh, 2 lakh are practicing, 2 lakh again, 140 crore of population is huge. Now, you may say 2 lakh is even more. The ratio falls more than 1 is to 6,000, 5,000. Even with 3 lakh, the ratio is 1 is to 5,000. So ratio side, there is no dearth of dentists. Maybe somebody can say it. The new generation is coming up every year. 27 to 30,000 dentists are added, but there is a huge dearth of good dentists. There is a huge dearth of skillful dentists. So make yourself skillful so that you are known for certain tasks. We have this notion that we try to do everything, and that is what is our pitfall. Just pick up those things which you are master at. We sometimes try to pick up those things which we don't know well, and we try to become a jack of all. It is better to become a master of few. Jack of all, master of none is a ideology of old times, of the old yore or old folklore, as we say. But in today's times, the new philosophy is master of few. Do the work that you know, make it even more, you can say, skillful, so that no one can beat you in that, and delegate the rest. Don't try to be a master of everything that you can do. I have done this mistake. Yes, maybe those things didn't turn out bad for me, but in today's times, I practiced majority before COVID. I practiced for 20 years, 21 years pre-COVID, and today we can say I'm about to complete 24 years. I'll be starting 25th year from New Year, 1st Jan. So the the difference I'm seeing online and offline, and in the terms of skillfulness, and of course in terms of how the searches happen and how the dentists are picked and how the conversations happen, there is a lot of difference between things which we have done pre-COVID and post-COVID. We used to call that AD and BC, after death of Christ and before Christ. I call that pre-corona and after corona. So before corona or after COVID. So whatever you can say. So these are terminologies we need to understand. So you need to also be visible, and yes, you can market those services which you believe are your niche, or are your skillful, or your stronghold points. Patients are nowadays not easily trusting us due to the media news coming that negligence of doctors. Now, negligence of doctors mostly has happened, majority, which are the reported ones, in the corporates only. The Sabka dentist famous case we all know. There are a lot of cases that has happened with other you can say other corporates. I won't name them, but I keep on getting, you can say, I receive at least 3 legal notices from colleagues every month, which I, you can say, help them to reply to that. And some of them are finished at that stage only, some of them go ahead. But trust me, the situation is not that good. And most of the times when colleagues tell me the whole story, uh, most of the time they are at fault. The question is that I can't tell them that you are at fault, please go and accept it. I still try to mitigate the damage whichever way we can, or whichever way I can help the colleague. But I tell them to be very cautious in future. But once incidents ho jata na, nobody bothers. Majority of cases that have come to me via legal notice and have ended have been because of lack of consent. And none of those dentists have turned up for the consent, learning the consent. So it is all about कि आज नुकसान हुआ, देखी जाएगी, आज हुआ कल की कल देखेंगे. So they, even after burning their hand, even after burning their, you can say, themselves, they are, if they have not taken up a lesson from that, it is a pitiful stage. So I can only hope that they don't land up in such a scenario again. So yes, something goes wrong, I would say follow the protocols. Don't jump beyond your skill set ambit. Hire specialist for the specialist job. Delegate those jobs which you believe you don't have a stronghold. And it may or may not finish your career, but yes, it is better to be safe than be sorry. But having said that, it does not mean that the flip side is many of us are adventurous in clinic. Clinic is not a place to be adventure. For that there are hills and mountains or treks. Go there for adventures. Don't make your clinic such a place. So not handling complicated patients is absolutely fine. If you feel that your skill set is lacking in that part, definitely don't take up those cases and delegate them. So I'm not saying refuse them those cases, but delegate to able specialist, or you can say consultant business, who can handle that work, rather than saying a blatant no to the patient. So I hope that answers your query. So query number 98 from Dahod, Gujarat. New footfall is very less. Need to understand method of marketing digitally. Now, the simple way to understand this is, I've been repeating this in the multiple morning yep series practice pain point sessions as well. If the footfall is less, you need to identify the reasons for that. So if you have identified that yes, word of mouth is no longer working for you, then I'm glad that you found it. Word of mouth is a good way, but don't treat it as a strategy. It is a luck by chance, Bhagwan Bharose. Some days Diwali, some days Diwala. It is that kind of approach. So even you can say if people who are starting up new, they start having that thought put in by the elders in the family that your work will speak for itself. For that work to speak for itself, you need to do some work. और सम वर्क के लिए कुछ ना कुछ आएगा, पेशेंट फुटफॉल आएगा, तभी आप करोगे ना. So it is not about new footfall. You have to, you can say, be very cautious. The new footfall, getting a conversion done, and then retaining those old patients. Retaining old patient versus new patient, the ratio is golden ratio is 70 is to 30. So even if you get 30% new, 70% old, that is a very good ratio. So don't always keep on relying on new, because the old know your way of working, and the old know your system, and they are absolutely in sync with how you work and how the things work in your clinic. So regarding the methods of marketing digitally, make it a learning goal. Make it a learning goal for the new year 2024, that you have to learn digital ways of marketing. Just follow me. If you see simple infographics, simple podcast using your mobile phone, simple short or a video or a reel, even if you want it to be faceless, a blog of 100, 200, 300 words. These are 3 or 4 simple ways that you can do. If these are, you can say, these are to be known, that even if you're marketing digitally, these are for your awareness and visibility campaigns. These give you authority, credibility. When you go in for the paid marketing, learning all the digital methods or the performance marketing, as we say it, you get the results, but somebody will seek validation. And validation has to come if you're present online. So some will say, I am shy, I don't want to face the camera. These are all excuses. These are all excuses. Having been in that position myself, today, when I have more than 950 videos on YouTube in less than 4 years, or rather exactly 3.5 years. I started in June 2000. So this is 23 and 3.5 years, almost close to 1,000 videos. It's not an easy deal. And most of them are long format webinar videos like this. They happen and they are, you can say, queued up in that list. So already the videos are coming up. The pain point series that I took up in July and August are coming up these days. So till we are, you can say, by the time these sessions get online, they'll be in queue. They'll be online by April or May, or maybe most likely March end or April, only these pain point sessions. So the question is, what do you want? The choice is yours. If you want that you are only relying on old age methods, it's your choice. If you want to rely only on offline marketing, networking, again, your choice. But digital marketing is the in thing. I have posted reels also, videos also, blogs also on that. Do read them, you can say, and you can take a cue from what I am doing. I hope it answers your query. And of course, make that as a learning goal for the new year 2024. Okay. So query from New Delhi, India, savings on monthly basis, need to plan regarding the same. The simplest way is to budget properly. Understand what are your needs, understand what are your wants, understand where does the money go. And once you have a clear-cut idea of where your money goes, you will be able to leak, or you can say stop the puncture from your tire, or from your, you can say, bucket. And once you can stop the puncture, of course, be assured that you can save. And as they say, you can be frugal, you can say spendthrift. It is an individual choice, but you need to remember these savings will go a long way in planning for your alternate retirement investment planning before you actually rest in peace. Because if you don't save today, remember, unless you are having ancestral income, unless you are having your, you can say, compounded income, nobody is going to give you anything in old age. Relying on your children is another painful task, which I actually detest and actually discourage every one of us, that don't rely on your children. I'm not saying they'll be kapoots or sapoots or whatever, but I really wish that we do not think about those things. So I hope that answers your query. So query number 100 from Satra, Maharashtra, investment after 42 years of practice. So sir, if after 42 years of practice, I believe you must be close to 65, 66 years of age. So for you, very less portion is advisable in equity. Technically, I would say 15% or so, going by the 80 minus age formula. Yes, I won't say you don't need an exposure at all for, you can say, for exposure at all to equity. You will surely need it, number one. Number two, now at the age of 65, 66, I don't presume you are actively practicing. You may be practicing, but yes, doing it for leisure, doing it for fun is one thing, but doing it for, you can say, doing it for earning the bread and butter is another thing. So I presume the first part, you're doing it for leisure, doing it for fun. And if you are still having money flowing in from your practice regularly, whichever way you are earning, I would encourage, there are so many options for you. If you are, you can say, a male, then you have the senior citizen savings scheme, the Pradhan Mantri Vandana Vyaya Yojana, the post office MIS schemes. You have the advantage of getting the senior citizen interest everywhere. So there are multiple options, but I feel your options should be restricted to where you get a continuous flow of monthly income. But that having said that, I am relying on that adage that you are working for fun, not working to make your ends meet. If you're working to make your ends meet and you have still surplus money, then this is something which is non-balanced. You are already earning the desired thing from your clinic. Then you don't need to invest. Then you need to, you can say, go for a world tour, enjoy the money that you are having, and you don't need to invest for your children, especially. The old age Sanskrit that monologue goes, "Poot ka poot to kyudan sanchay, poot sa poot to kyudan sanchay." It means not no gender bias, but if your progeny is good, they will earn themselves. If the progeny is bad, they will destroy whatever you have earned. So it is always better that you think on those lines and enjoy your golden period of life. But yes, some portion of equity exposure should be there, which should be limited. If I presume you are in the age of 65, 66, close to about 15% or maybe max 20% exposure should be there to equity as well, which should give you again some portion of money blocked and giving you good amount of return. So I hope I've answered your query. So query number 101 from Ulhasnagar, Maharashtra. Politics happening around us, even in the hospital we work, managing the finances. See, politics is something you can say not most of us enjoy, but that is an inescapable part of any workplace, be it a hospital, be it or any company, be it any multinational, be it any organization. Otherwise, this is a part of you can say every, even you can say the local IDs are full of politics. So any talk of any stream, there is hardly any field which is devoid of politics. So if you don't like that toxic environment, I would you can say encourage you that you do not indulge in that. You do not indulge in that. So better to change the workplace if it suits you. If not, then absolutely fine with me. So but then you have to learn to live with it and not complain about it. So I can understand sometimes we feel that we don't get a job somewhere else, and we have to stay in there. But then learn to ignore is the biggest thing. If you are aspirational about political scenario or aspirational about a post or you can say a position in the hospital, then definitely you will get embroiled in the controversy. But if you are neutral, not gender neutral, but if you are neutral otherwise and have no, you can say, lay out your cards openly that you are not interested in that, then obviously there will be no placing of you in different camps as we see them already. So regarding managing the finances, you need to understand what is coming and what is going out first. So what is, you can say, what you are earning and what you are spending. And if you are not saving on anything, you need to curb down your expenses. If your income is limited, then you need to increase your avenues of income. If you can say you have a fixed salary and you don't have avenues to increase your income, be, you can say, in that position where you can plan out for your clinic, or maybe work as a freelancer, or maybe work as, you can say, visiting consultant. Whichever way, from the limited, you can say, query you posted, I don't know whether you are a postgraduate or not, whether you are visiting consultant or not, what is your age, how much is your income. So whatever I can make out from the options or from the, you can say, the limited words you have posted, I can answer this much only. I hope it answers your query, and let's hope things get better for you. So query number 102 from Merta City, Nagaur, Rajasthan. Bargaining by the patient, lower treatment charges. So this is a universal problem anywhere. If the bargaining happens, primarily we are at fault. We are at fault because we don't detail the things to the patient. We don't detail the things at the start to the patient. We want to just start and book in some advance, and that is where the fault lies. We hardly go in for the paperwork. We believe that patient will get pissed off. It is your perspective. If you have been thinking without trying that you will be able to do it, I'm sorry, it is not. It doesn't work that ways. Certain things you do only by experiencing these things. There are so many colleagues, including me, that I know, who I have been taking consent. I've been taking consent since 2013. This will be 11th year starting in 2024 when I'm taking consents. Barring 1 or 2% of patients, nobody has even objected. 1 or 2% क्या 10% भी object करते तो I would have ignored it. 1-2%. तो बिना ट्राई किए ना मत मतलब मन में ये रखो कि patients won't sign the consent. From morning practice management session, I had this thing. I had so many queries pertaining to that. Patient does not sign it. How to convince the patient to sign? अरे sign करवाना ही नहीं है. I mean convince करके करवाना ही नहीं है sign. It is just that patient will be a procedural doing a procedural formality. It is the way you need to learn it. But if you want that I feed you everything, the consent workshop is a 4-day workshop now, not even a 2-day workshop. It is a 4-day workshop. Out of that, 1 day is dedicated to record keeping. 3 days are dedicated to consent. 3 days means from morning 9 to 7. 10 hours, 9 hours at least we are putting in. So 27 hours of content I can't dictate even in 27 minutes. And of course, I've kept 3 to 4 minutes for each query. So I'm not sticking to that time limit. But if you believe that advance रखवाने से patient bargaining end में नहीं करेगा, तो you are at fault. उसमें ज़्यादा करता है. Patient's need is the clarity. मेरा budget कितना है, whether it falls into my budget or not. At that point of time, we have this notion: patient आया है, उसको फंसा लो. I'm saying in a very crude language. I'm not pointing it out to you, but I'm saying it in general. पेशेंट आया कुछ ना कुछ दे के जाएगा, जस्ट लाइक क्राइम मास्टर गोगो, आया हूं कुछ तो लेकर ही जाऊंगा. दैट अप्रोच शुड नॉट बी देयर फॉर द पेशेंट. So remember, if you are doing bargaining, the patient is doing bargaining, you are to be primarily blamed. Now, lower treatment charges. If your treatment charges are lower, you need to watch my GPM NPM videos. If the colleagues around you have lower treatment charges, I'm not sure for whom you have written lower treatment charges. If you are charging less, then you are digging a grave for yourself. You are not carrying anything home substantially. And then that is the problem. Carry home less, earn less, spend more, save less. Where to invest? How to invest? I don't have anything left only. That thing will be there. It all starts from, you can say, the skill part, the confidence part, the visibility part, the footfall part, the execution part, the patient satisfaction part, and ultimately it boils down to correct pricing also part. And once all those factors fall in place, you will have, you can say, then you have to just manage the over expenses and not fall into that FOMO zone of buying and going overboard. Don't do that. Do these, get these things in order, have a handsome profit coming out of your clinic. You should be earning whatever your gross revenue is, you should be earning about 50 to 70% of net between that. That is the great ratio to have if you can do that. But if not, then of course you know whom to blame. I hope that answers your query. So query number 103 from Dubai, UAE: how to make my money for me? How to make my money work for me, I guess you want to ask. How to make sure I spend mindfully on personal professional activities. How to, if, how can I tell how you spend mindfully? The only thing is you need to, you can say, be very conscious and cautious of the way you're spending. You can say, just go through your budgeting statement of the previous months. If you are making proper records, doing proper record keeping, just go through your previous statements and then assess and analyze what exactly are you covering in that, what exactly were the expenses you could have managed without you can say without burning something substantial. Maybe you could have managed that. If you have still not been able to manage that, then you need to take a bar over that. How to make your money work for you? The prime thing is you need to have a passive income flowing in, and compounding is your passive income. Compounding is your source of income, but compounding needs at least 10 to 15 to 20 years to act. Minimum 10 years to start acting, 15 years to get into motion, and 20 years to fly right like a rocket. After 20 तो हर साल आपका डबल 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 वाला काम होता जाता है. But yes, for those 20 years need to have put in a decently substantial amount, and then the money will start working for you. And that is why I say start early. The starting early is the big key, is a big key to having an early retirement. The unfortunate thing is many colleagues don't know. Those who know it and understand my points and my terminology, and their one common complaint with me is, I wish you had met me 20 years earlier. So many 40, late 40 guys or early 50 guys have said this statement to me. I wish you had met me 20 years earlier. So I take that as a big compliment that because 30 साल 25 साल 40 साल से कम वालों को मेरी बातें समझ नहीं आती. When I say pay more tax, कहते हैं पागल है, बेवकूफ है, सरकार को देने को बोलता है, इसको अकल तो है नहीं है. It's like that because my opinions may or may not be respected by many of you. I don't mind that. But what I'm saying is, जिसको समझ आ जाती है बात, those guys get into order and they start taking action, and then they realize probably 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, that whatever I was saying, it did make a difference. So I hope you understand compounding is going to be a passive income and budgeting is going to be the way you can spend mindfully on personal and professional activities. Having said that, I'll just say I always advise to be frugal, but I don't advise to be literally conjuice. I believe that recreation has its own place in life. It's not that you need to curb your wants totally. And sometimes recreation is not meant to be, you can say, you earn the money and you enjoy the money with the family as well. So I hope that gives you a good clue about what I'm trying to say. So query number 104 from Mumbai, Maharashtra. My pain point, I'm practicing in a rented place. Rent is 16,000 per month. So problem I'm facing is property prices for commercial property here are starting from 40. Prices are almost same or more in the whole city. After combining my savings and loan, I'm reaching till on 26 or 27 lakhs. Okay. Also, rent keeps on increasing by 10% every year, and property price also increases to some extent. So I'm not able to raise the charges in the same proportion because I have 8 dentists in my 1 kilometer surrounding radius. Wow, 8 dentists. So in my 1 square kilometer, I have 15 dentists. I'm in a smaller town than you. So just on the lighter side. But if I take funds from relative friends, the repayment amount comes more than the income generated. That is what I can see in my calculations. I'm not getting how to go about with my current financials about buying clinic. If wait, how much time should I wait? Okay. Okay. My gross revenues are around 50 to 55,000 per month. When I submitted my ID documents, bank wala said maximum loan I can get is around 20 lakhs. I'm trying to increase revenue, but due to competition and rate war, not increasing beyond a point. Currently, my wife is not working. I also don't have any big asset which can be of some help. This will be my property for purchase. Do guide me how I can go about it and what should I do about? I think. Okay, the query is he is 35 years of age. I'll get to the second query before I answer the first one. So simply saying the big dilemma people face is rent or buy. And when they talk about rent, they start calculating on that. See, I give a very simple, बहुत कुछ मैंने लिखा रेंट और बाय के बीच में 5 part और 6 part blog मैंने लिखा है, but let me answer it very clearly. So if you are even at 16,000 per month, I believe 1 year rent would be around 1,92,000. Let's put it at 2 lakh rupees. Okay. Now you will be getting that adjusted in your expenses. Number one, 2 lakhs, even if 10% increases every year, probably if I don't count the increase, 2 lakhs into 20 years, 20 years of practice, you have 40 lakhs of rent paid. And you want to buy a property of 40 lakhs. Now, I'm not discouraging you in any ways, but I'm just trying to get at the numbers. Whether the property will have a long-term utilization for you, because in the rental option you may still have the option to hold the, you can say, your landlord accountable, that not to increase after 2 year 3 year 4 year 5 year. You can do a lease kind of a thing, because after a certain point, once you reach from 16 to probably you reach around maybe 30,000 or so, maybe in 5-7 years. So then probably at that situation, the landlord can know it that if he has to rent this property afresh, then he will not get maybe 30,000. He will have to start from 20. So he can be negotiated at that point of time. So that means that puts a stop to that. So I have counted 2 lakhs into 20 years as 40 lakhs. So probably with the 10% appreciation, that is close to 15 to 16 years. The question is, how many years have you actually practiced? You are at 35 years of age. I presume you must be in probably 5th or 6th year of practice. So how many active years of practice do you want to do? If you're 35, I would say maybe 20 more. So think of rent versus buy in those terminologies. Because, why I'm saying because, I'll come to why I'm mentioning about this part. People ask me, if I don't show, I save money. You must have saved some money because of 26 or 27 lakhs by not showing your actual numbers. Now, you can say IT guy has told you can maximum get a loan is around 20 lakhs. So I presume your IR is less than 5 lakhs for sure. For sure. That means you're paying zero tax. Nothing wrong in that if you are happy with that. But then if you believe that if you are actually earning 50,000 per month or 55,000 per month, your actual income is probably 6 lakhs in that regard. So 6 lakhs this is actually for a tier 1 or a tier 2, this is actually the living expense. 40 to 50,000 is living expense, and I'm including the kids fees, school fees also in this for a tier 1. Maybe at the most you can save is maybe 40-45,000. So what is the balance? You are left with maybe 10,000 each month. चलो मान लिया आप उसको कम कर लो, नेगेटिव कर लो, your ITR value goes down to maybe 3 lakhs now. So after the gross expenses are deducted, you may be having clinic expenses also. So practically you are having a hand to mouth approach. Even if I presume your clinic expenses are 40 to 50%, you are carrying home 25 to 30,000 rupees. आप 25-30 हजार नेट घर लेके जा रहे हो, या maybe a little more. उसमें सिर्फ गुजारा ही हो सकता है. You can curb all your wants, you can't save for your future, and you are thinking of taking a loan. Why? How? अब आपने 26-27 लाख जमा कहां से किए? क्वेश्चन ये है मेरा. Is it the actual revenue that you're towing? The way you have told your revenue is this. It must be less some years back. I'm absolutely sure you would not have earned that from your clinic, or you are not showing actual numbers here, or this might be your net revenue, not the gross revenue. अगर आपका 25-30 हजार घर में लेके जा रहे हो तो आप 26-27 लाख कहां से जमा करके बैठे हो भाई साहब? So saving and loan combined, okay, maybe I am getting it that with loan of 20 lakhs, 6 or 7 lakhs, probably 6 or 7 is your saving, is my understanding out of this, even if you have counted off as 20 lakhs as the loan. So agar aapka gross revenue, I presume, is this, net revenue is 25 to 30,000, how do you plan to pay the EMI of that commercial property loan? This is not a home loan. This is a commercial property loan. It will be priced significantly higher. उसकी EMI कहां से आएगी? So property अपनी खरीदना, rent versus buy, viability between whatever you are paying as a rent is one question. Paying your EMI is another question. Having limited income is another question. And not saving for your retirement is the most important question out of all this. If you are getting my point, understand rationally. With this kind of revenue, even if you get 40 lakhs of loan, I would absolutely advise against buying the commercial property. Absolutely. If this is your financial health, you are not taking into account where would your EMI come from. I'm actually, that is how people jump into, people believe अपनी प्रॉपर्टी ले लेंगे, बड़ी जगह पे हो जाएंगे, रेंट का खर्चा बचेगा. अरे रेंट का खर्चा बचेगा, उतनी EMI लग जाएगी. व्हाट आर यू सेविंग? 10 साल का 15 साल का लोन लग जाएगा. आई डोंट गेट इट. पीपल एट द एंड ऑफ 15 ईयर्स विल से ठीक है, प्रॉपर्टी तो बन गई ना, 15 साल EMI देनी पड़ी. बट व्हाट इज द बेनिफिट इन द लॉन्गर रन? कल को प्रॉपर्टी नहीं एस्केलेट हुई, आई एम नॉट प्रिज्यूमिंग एनीथिंग रॉन्ग और बैड, गॉड फॉरबिड प्रॉपर्टी के सामने फ्लाईओवर बन गया, प्रॉपर्टी की वैल्यू जीरो, मिट्टी। द वे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इज कमिंग अप, कहां फ्लाईओवर बन जाए कुछ नहीं पता। So many prime properties, so many petrol pumps on the highways have turned dust just because a flyover came up in front of them. They were doing hearty business before that. So don't rely, and if this is your plan कि ठीक है मैंने अपने रिटायरमेंट के लिए नहीं भी बचाया, तो कल को प्रॉपर्टी है ना कमर्शियल, बच्चे अगर नहीं भी डेंटिस्ट्री करेंगे तो आई विल सेल इट ऑफ। बैड आइडिया, वेरी बैड आइडिया। प्रॉपर्टी कब जीरो हो जाए वैल्यू में, देन व्हाट विल यू डू? फिर वो बच्चों से, सॉरी डोंट माइंड माय वर्ड, बच्चों से कटोरा लेके भीख मांगनी। आई एम वेरी मच अगेंस्ट दैट, चाहे आपके अपने बच्चे हैं। सो आई डोंट, एंड देन यू हैव नॉट फैक्टर्ड इनटू किड्स ग्रोइंग अप, हायर एजुकेशन, किड्स मैरिज। जस्ट एक दिमाग में जो कीड़ा होता है ना एक प्रॉपर्टी लेने का, अपनी प्रॉपर्टी छोड़ दो यार, फेंक दो उसको। थिंक रैशनली, थिंक रैशनली। लोग सारे फैक्टर सोचते नहीं है। आपको कोई डिफरेंस नहीं पड़ेगा, आप रेंट देते हो, आप ईएमआई दोगे, आपको लगता है प्रॉपर्टी आपकी अपनी हो जाएगी, 10-15 साल में होगी। अगर कम टाइम में लेनी है, हायर रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट एंड यू कैन से मोर ईएमआई गोइंग इन, देन कटिंग योर कॉर्नर्स, जवानी सारी बिताओ फ्रुगैलिटी में, हाई फ्रुगैलिटी में। What is the point of such a property if it is not giving you sukh in present? For a future sukh, you are destroying your present. So if you understand what I am trying to get at, please do take an action on it. And what should we do for living after retirement? You are still 35. Don't think of retirement. And with the kind of plans and revenue you have, you need to work really hard. You need to really work hard before you even think of retirement. So drop your idea of buying a property with this amount of income. Think of avenues of increasing your sources of income, increasing your rent. ये मत सोचो 8 डेंटिस्ट है, 10 डेंटिस्ट है, 15 है, आज 8 है कल को 12 होंगे, 2 साल बाद 3 साल बाद 15 होंगे। सो इफ यू आर थिंकिंग एंड बॉदरिंग अबाउट दैट, आप ये भूल जाते हो कि अगर डेंटिस्ट बढ़ रहे हैं, डेंटिस्ट 2, 4, 5, 7 एरिया में बढ़ रहे हैं, पॉपुलेशन हजारों में बढ़ रही है, वो नहीं आपको दिखती। हम लोग वो चीज सोचते नहीं है। हर डेंटिस्ट एक बनता तो उसके पीछे 1 करोड़ और पॉपुलेशन खड़ी हो जाती है। So think about those things rationally and decide about it. You don't have time for retirement right now. You still need to work for at least 20 years and invest decently well. Yes, you can still build up some amount of wealth with a consistent saving of 2,000 to 3,000 per month. If you can watch it, the video is already there in the finance pain point session 1 or 2. Session number 3 went live today evening on Wednesday. So in 1 or 2, I have given that calculation of Sudhir and Randhir. Even with a minuscule investment of 2 to 3,000 per month, what amount you can reach. But then that is a limit. You need to top up that with the investment each year. So I hope I have answered your query and being rational with that, giving you a very practical advice. So query from Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra, number 105, not able to make money. Maybe you wanted to write most of money going in upgradation, not able to manage money. Classical example, not able to make money means you have not been visible enough, you have not been skillful enough, you have not been confident enough, you may not have been good executioner of the treatment, you may not have been ending up with patient satisfaction, maybe you are not getting good referrals, maybe you are not having good word of mouth, and then you are not present organically, maybe you are not present doing collaboration offline, you are not at all much visible to your prospective audience. So if you're not able to make money, find out the loophole. I mentioned a plethora of factors, not all are applicable to you. I said maybe you're not skillful, maybe you're not confident, maybe you're not selling. So if you're not skillful, then maybe you're not able to work or execute properly. If you're not able to convey properly, then you're not able to convert properly. So all those things, communication is lacking, confidence is lacking, skill is lacking, visibility is lacking. You need to factor out which factor is there. Most of money going in upgradation. If you're not able to make, why are you upgrading? Why are you upgrading? Based on FOMO approach. And what are you upgrading? I don't know. You need to be very clear when you're posting your query that what are you upgrading? So if you're upgrading and still not, you can say, able to decide that yes, this is my, you can say, pain point in terms of that. So need to understand that very clearly. So then not able to manage money. So it should be very, very clear to you that if you are not able to manage money, कितने को मैनेज करना आपके लिए मुश्किल है. अभी आपने बोला यू आर नॉट एबल टू मेक मनी, देन अगर पैसा आ ही नहीं रहा है तो मैनेज किसको करना है आपने? If you are not clear about what your questions are, just for the sake of posting your pain point, you have posted it, I'm sorry, either you need to be elaborate more, or you can say you need to have, you can say negated your first point itself. You're not able to make money and you're not able to manage money. If you're not making money, what are you managing? What do you want to managing? Money means what do you invest, or to, you can say, manage your expenses, manage your overheads. What? Please be very specific. I hope whatever I can give you in the first 2 points, I've given you that. Query number 106 from Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. I do a lot of implant cases and total treatment time takes around 4 to 6 months, especially in FMR cases. But sometimes in full mouth implant cases, few implants fail during prosthetic phase. And how do I convince the patient that I will have to place some new implants and that will increase the treatment time, plus patient has to undergo one more surgery again? In full mouth cases or normal FMR as a treatment time long, then how do I plan my billing schedule? So shall I take in installments? If yes, then how to do the same? Because most of the times patients tend to pay less after placement of final crowns. The simple answer to query number 106 is that you need to make a good consent form which should add the plus and the minus of your treatment. Of course, case selection is your prerogative, but the kind of bone you have, you can always judge that from a CBCT, the kind of quality of bone you are having, D3, D4, or whatever you can say quality you encounter, and how much is your implants failure rate. Predominantly, we all know that implants have a very high success rate, but you can always keep a margin that if the implant fails, now again, some companies will replace the implant, at least the hardware. So the only thing that gets added is your surgical cost. So what do you need to incur onto the patient? The implant cost also, if you are using a non, you can say warranty implant, which is not replaceable, or are you incurring only the surgical cost? So either ways, you need to mention that in the consent form and be very clear about it. I believe let's suppose the implant cost is around 1,000. Again, I'm taking the example the implants I'm using. So I'm just taking, for example, your hardware cost is 8,000, and the accessory cost, the lab analog and other things cost maybe around 3 to 4,000. Of course, those are reusable components. Let's presume that your landing cost with the surgery cost added is probably 15,000 per implant. Now, I've taken the proportion of the surgery per implant. If you're doing a full mouth implant, you must be placing close to 7 to 8, or 7 to 8 in the upper, or 7 to 8 in the lower. If you're doing all on 4, all on 3, I'm not sure. But if I'm doing a full mouth case, I'll be placing at least 7 to 8 in the upper, 7 to 8 in the lower. Maybe a couple less in lower, depending upon the quality of bone. So if I am using 14 to 15 implants or 16 implants, I'll make sure that I'm charging at least 15,000 per implant as a starting payment. I'm coming to the billing schedule. 15,000 as the starting payment. And of course, if my total costing of implant is 40,000, in the middle phase, I'll be charging at least around 10,000 of the middle phase when I'm doing the, you can say, the tissue preparation and other protocols. And the remaining, you can say 15,000, 15, 10, 15 is paid at the prosthetic phase. And that is how we segregate that part so that the patient is very, very comfortable paying it. So I make it absolutely in 3 installments, 15, 10, and 15 per implant. So that even if I place, you can say 16 implants, the 16 implants, then probably the revenue still would be around 2,70,000 in the first installment. The second stage revenue would be 1,60,000, and the third stage would be again close to 2,70,000. So this is the way you can split up your, you can say, work. You can do one third as well. You can do my method as well, as I have told you. Absolutely your choice, but I believe at least hardware and some surgical proportion of the cost should be covered in the initial payment. So, and when you are doing an extra cost, it is better to use an implant. Of course, I'm no one to guide you. It is better to use an implant which is replaceable by the company, at least in the surgical phase, or at least in the first phase. And you incur only the surgical cost of that when you have to go through that again. And the consent form is the best way to convey the same to the patient. And once you convey that to the patient, it can be there. Regarding billing, I told you 15, 10, 15, you can make it 40, 20, 40 as per your convenience. You can make it 40, 40, 20 as well. You can make it 33, 33, 33 as well. That is the way I do it. I do it 40, 20, 40. So that the patient is not burdened as such. Yes, in immediate implant cases, sometimes we charge almost 90% upfront. So it is dependent upon what are you doing, which system are you using, and all those parameters that I've just told you. So yes, taking payments in installments is convenient for the patient as well, but the patient needs to be given a clarity first. That is where I said detail the payment down in a consent form so that the patient knows where the breakup happens, which stage he has to pay how much, so that they are very much in sync with you. Because remember one thing, when you're doing additional surgeries, doing additional implants, your total treatment time will be prolonged. So a 40% upfront, at least covering your hardware and surgical cost, will make sure that the patient is comfortable that abhi to maine aadhe bhi paise nahi diye hain, that mental clarity. You can make it 40, 30, 30 also. That suits you. I do 40, 20, 40. So, or 37.5, 12.5, and again 37 or 40.5, whatever it is. So I hope this gives you a clear idea of how it is, because if the patient tends to pay less, the only thing is maybe they don't feel enough value has been given to them in the whole treatment, and probably the clarity was not there कि आपने एंड में नई सर्जरी के पैसे ऐड कर दिए, नए इम्प्लांट के पैसे ऐड कर दिए. सो बी वेरी क्लियर अबाउट इट एंड कन्वे इट. अगर इम्प्लांट फेल होता है तो इम्प्लांट रिप्लेस होता है तो द पेशेंट विल नॉट माइंड पेइंग ओनली द सर्जिकल कॉस्ट. He'll have to undergo the surgery again, but he'll be saved of the hardware cost. Remember, even if the implant fails, in the best of the sterile conditions and even in the best surgeon's hand, even if the patient's bone may be good, nobody can be pinpointed at कि आपका fail हुआ है. It can be the body's response as well. So neither the skillful surgeon is at fault, neither the implant is at fault, and of course neither the patient's bone is at fault. Sometimes if these things are not at fault, why should the patient bear the damage is my question. Either it should be shared in between all of us, or it should be that only the surgical, now the patient is bearing the pain also again and the cost also again of the additional implant, which is absolutely unfair on that part. So I believe I have given you enough food for thought in terms of this query. So query number 107 from Anand, Gujarat. How to do maximum tax saving investment? How much could be an average our retirement corpus, and how can you calculate it? How you can have your passive income and become financially stable? So see, just a second. Yeah. So how to do maximum tax saving instrument? Think of those instruments which are tax free. When it comes to debt, it is the PPF. It's 100% tax free instrument. When it comes to hybrid, it is the NPS, 60% tax free and 40% annuity, which pays you pension. Of course, pension may be taxable, but that 40% doesn't charge you upfront tax whenever you redeem it. Okay. So when it comes to hedge, gold, sovereign gold bonds, tax free. So then equity mutual funds, LTCG 1 lakh free. HESBA 80 TTA. HESBA means high earning saving bank account. लोग बोलते हैं क्या फायदा, जितना ज्यादा ब्याज मिला उतना ज्यादा देना भी तो पड़ा. एब्सोल्युटली फाइन. 2.5% पे भी आप 30% दे रहे हो, 7% पे भी आप 30% दे रहे हो. 7 बचता आपके पास और 4.9 बचता. 2.5 का 30 काट दोगे तो यू आर लेफ्ट विद 1.75. So see the difference between a HESBA and a normal savings bank account. A normal saving is giving you 2.5 to 3 to 3.5 max, and a HESBA is giving you 6.5 to 7%. And both of them have a cushion of 80 TTA. So these are the things you need to take advantage of that. Of course, you want to learn more on taxation. I'm doing a workshop next month. You can join me. I'm not selling it. I'm just informing you. So how much can be our average retirement corpus in today's times? If you are planning to retire today, let's suppose you are 55 to 60 years of age, presuming you have 30 years, 25 to 30 years left, we presume the average age at 85. So 25 to 30 years, you will need a corpus of 5 to 6 crores to do that. There are multiple ways to do it. The rule of 4% withdrawal is there. The rule of whatever your expenses is multiplied by 25x, 25x of your expenses is there. There are multiple rules to come at that formula. But yes, certain rules don't take into account the inflation part. You need to be very clear on the inflation because that is going to eat up in the money. And yes, if your kids plan to go in for a higher education, that is costly. And I believe if by the time of your retirement, your kids have already not gone into education, I mean higher education or marriage, which are both, you can say tax, you can say both of them are, you can say tax or sorry, money burning procedures. So you need to not burn into your retirement corpus. So technically बोले तो 25 साल के लिए 1.5 से 2 करोड़ 2.5 करोड़ बहुत होता है. But to be on the safer side, inflation part and incidental expenses in today's time 5 to 6 year. आज से 15 साल बाद 20 साल बाद 2044 में अमाउंट कितना होगा? 30 crores, 20 crores, 25 crores, 10 crores, I don't know. We'll have to see how the inflation goes and the next 25 years of the Amrit Kal, how they go. So the passive income is having consistent investments, keeping them for time. Time is the most valuable asset in finance. And once you have, you can say instruments in line or in investment, that is the way you can hope that your money keeps on growing. And when it starts compounding after 10 to 15 years plus, see, initial few years of compounding are dull, insipid, and boring. But once compounding takes off, it takes off like a rocket. I give that example of presently my PPF will complete 25 years, you can say in March 2024. I'll be renewing it for another 5 years. But at present, if I put in 1.5, 3,70,000 सिर्फ उसमें ब्याज पड़ता है. दैट इज द पावर ऑफ ट्रू कंपाउंडिंग. सो मैं 1.5 डालता हूँ, गवर्नमेंट 3.25 लाख डालती है बिना किसी टैक्स के, टैक्स फ्री मनी. एंड एवरी ईयर नाउ इट इज गोइंग ऑन proportionately increasing. That 1.5 I put in is like adding huge value to it. So this is the time when I'm actually enjoying the fruits of at least one investment. NPS will take time because I started it only 5 years back. It became tax free. Mutual funds I've been doing since 2007, beginning to see fruits of some investments. Some investments I discarded in 2013. Some of them are continuing. So 2013, 10 years, it will come to circulation. SGBs I started late, but into circulation. But otherwise, all other investments, some stocks are there. They're bearing good returns. So this is the way the money needs to be put in multiple sources and not into one. Those who believe that PPF can give you nothing, we started with PPF with a 50,000 rupees limit. Then the limit was 70,000. As good as in year 2008. In 2009, PPF was raised to 1 lakh rupees. It was only in 2014 when the Modi government came in, the PPF limit was raised from 1 lakh to 1.5 lakhs. Just about not even 10 years. So हम लोगों ने 50,000 से जोड़ना शुरू किया था और अब कैसे, and even I was not putting in full amount in the beginning. So imagine अगर 50,000 भी मैंने डाला होता, which is roughly 4,000 per month at that time. When I opened it up in 99, it was opened up by my dad only after my graduation in 1999. So मैंने वो mistake तो नहीं कहूँगा, but estimation of that नहीं किया. मैंने अपने बच्चों के starting से किए. For my younger daughter, as good as when she was 1 month old. So even उसके भी 7 साल पूरे हो जाएंगे PPF को. Imagine the kind of potential these investments are going to have when the kids become 18 or 20 years or 25 years of age. Imagine the money. This will come handy in their education and their marriage. So this is the reason we can not dip into our corpus and spend from their corpus. That is the beauty of these kind of investments. So I hope I have given you enough food for thought in that. I can say, Dr. Bhavna, I'll complete 25 years in March 24. My father started my PPF in 1999, 99 or 98, I guess. So after my graduation. Okay, so query from 108, query from Dhamangaon, Amravati, Maharashtra, taxation overheads management. So taxation is something I have detailed a lot. You need to understand the tax saving instruments which are there. You can go in for ELSS, but my favorite is still PPF. I do have specialists for a specialist job. For debt, I prefer PPF. For hybrid, I debt के लिए debt mutual fund भी आता है. हाइब्रिड के लिए बैलेंस्ड एडवांटेज फंड भी आता है. आई ऑलवेज से बैलेंस्ड और एडवांटेज don't go in the same line for me. If it is balanced, there can't be any advantage. If it is advantage, it can't be balanced. It's as simple as that. So then for gold, ETF भी आता है. इक्विटी के लिए तो म्यूचुअल फंड आते ही हैं. फॉर सेविंग्स बैंक अकाउंट वी प्रेफर द लो ऑप्शंस. सो if you have to be tax savvy, सब कुछ म्यूचुअल फंड में डालना is not advisable. As they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So if you're not putting all eggs in one basket, you need to understand कि स्पेशलिस्ट का काम करता है. और मैंने टैक्सेशन के बारे में बोला, पीपीएफ इज टैक्स फ्री, एनपीएस इज टैक्स फ्री, equity is you can say 1 lakh LTCG, SGB is tax free for the gold part. So best is to take advantage. अब इन सबके लिए अगर आप म्यूचुअल फंड में डालोगे तो सबकी सारी रिटर्न्स टैक्सेबल है, प्लस रिटर्न्स लेस, प्लस टैक्सेबल, प्लस मेंटेनिंग, और प्लस आपको डिफरेंट आईटीआर फाइल करनी पड़ेगी. वाई कौन ट्रैक करे, कौन करे? फिक्स्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट भी कोई चीज होती है कि नहीं? सो कीप सर्टेन थिंग्स फॉर, जैसे एसजीबी फिक्स्ड है तो फिक्स्ड है. एसजीबी और ईटीएफ में आपको डिफरेंस ज्यादा नहीं मिलेगा, ऑलमोस्ट सेम ही मिलेगा रिटर्न्स वाइज, बट एसजीबी इज एट अ डिस्टिंक्ट एडवांटेज. आपको जो 2.5% इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है पर ईयर, दैट इज ओवर एंड अबव द रिटर्न्स. वो आपको ईटीएफ में नहीं मिलेगा. ईटीएफ में एंड में टैक्सेशन होएगी, SGB will be tax free. So relative difference will be huge between SGB and ETF. So people who still have a debate about ETF being good or digital gold being good, हाथ जोड़ के विनती है, थोड़ा दिमाग यूज करो. भगवान ने बहुत दिया हम सबको. इतने साल बाद भी SGB जब आती है, जब भी मैं आती है, हर मंथ में डालता हूँ. So it is absolutely again not a thing which I would say. So I think taxation would be there where all the instruments are specialist and mostly give you tax free investment, maybe a tad less. People believe mutual fund ज्यादा देता है, गोल्ड वाला तो नहीं देता है, डेट वाला तो नहीं देता, हाइब्रिड वाला तो एब्सोल्युटली नहीं देता, फिर इक्विटी वाला देता है. इक्विटी में तो मैं भी डाल रहा हूं. Why are you comparing those three investment, debt, hybrid and hedge, with your mutual funds? Sorry, I'm not in favor of that. Overhead management, again, need to detail. हमारे क्लिनिक के जो मेन फैक्टर्स होते हैं ना, स्टाफ, मटेरियल्स एंड लैब, ये तीन फैक्टर जो होते हैं, दे यूजली आर contributory factors of maybe 60 to 70% of our expenses. It can be a tad more, tad less. कईयों का 60 होता है, कईयों का 80 होता है, but on an average 65 to 70% of these three heads, lab, materials and staff. So उनमें से यूजली जिनके पास मल्टी लेवल स्टाफ मेंबर्स हैं, स्टाफ इज द ग्रेटेस्ट हेड. सो इनके अलावा आपके लीकेज पॉइंट्स कहाँ पे हैं, आपके क्लिनिक में कहाँ कहाँ इन्वेस्टमेंट होती है. नाउ व्हेन यू इन्वेस्ट इन सर्टेन गैजेट, you don't put in that in the investment part. You put in only a portion of that, the written down value or the depreciation part. You put in only an expense in that part. So आपको वो 10, 15, 20, 30, 40% जो भी depreciation का point है, वही मिलेगा in overheads. So make a list and then see where the leakage is, whether those equipment investments are actually going to give you an ROI or not. मोस्टली जो होती है ना लीकेज, वहां पे होती है जब हम कोई मशीन या गैजेट खरीदते हैं based on our, you can say, WhatsApp university and Facebook university approach. So don't fall into that trap of buying everything based on Facebook dentistry, because those things are going to burn a pocket or a hole in your pocket. So I hope I get your answer your query. Okay, So query number 109 from Kotkapura, Punjab. How can we retire after 20 years of practice with financial freedom? By consistent, disciplined investment each and every month, come what may. And not putting all eggs into one basket, having all the categories to be put in. Debt needs to be there, HESBA needs to be there, hybrid needs to be there, equity needs to be there, hedge needs to be there. All those 5 categories, 5 bases and 5 basics मैं बहुत बारी बोलता हूँ. So all those 5 bases and 5 basics need to be there. 5 bases में आता है आपका term insurance, disability insurance, professional indemnity insurance, medical insurance and emergency fund. These are the 5 bases. ये 5 bases आपके policies के तौर पे covered हैं. Go to 5 basics: debt, hybrid, hedge, equity and HESBA. सिंपल. 5 बेसिस, 5 बेसिक. आपको इसके अलावा जिंदगी में कुछ और की जरूरत नहीं. इफ somebody sells you fancy something, go for it, but these 5 bases and 5 basics should be covered. ये 5 और 5 10 चीजें कवर कर लो, उसके बाद अपने पैसे को आग लगाओ. I don't even care. But these 5 bases and 5 basics are necessary for every one of us. Understand it and put in thoroughly. I hope I answered your query. So query number 110 from Vani, Nashik, Maharashtra. Bargaining an issue in accepting said treatment. Convey properly, develop your communication skills. The good part is all these things are learnable skills. You can be very much, you can say, be assured that if you convey properly, if you give them the value, the patient will automatically get converted. And of course, what helps? Your online presence in terms of your website, which having your before after cases, and you have those cases in your clinic also, having good reviews, good testimonials. Probably they might be the first point which pose the patient to come in. So if the patient comes in armed with your Google reviews, testimonials, and your before after cases, he's kind of mentally prepared that you can slay him. Not actually slay him, but I mean that you can actually get the treatment plan or conversion done from him. That is the beauty of this part. So bargaining, if you're not doing documentation properly, not conveying properly, not resorting to proper consent form, then these things will keep on happening. You will keep on posting these problems, these things, because I know for a fact, for a reason, हम लोग सुबह कर रहे होते हैं सेशन, 2 या 3 लोग होते हैं. ठीक है, फेसबुक ग्रुप पे जहां पे करता हूँ, क्लोज ग्रुप है, वहां पे कुछ लोग प्रेजेंट होते हैं ऑनलाइन. बट आई नो इट इज विंटर्स. बट अगर मैं आई एम द कोल्डेस्ट पार्ट, हमारे डेंसेस्ट फॉग चल रही है इस वक्त. सुबह कल पूरा दिन सन नहीं निकला, आज थोड़ी देर के लिए निकला था. इट वाज गुड सनी वेदर फॉर सम टाइम. बट yes, if we are, you can say, trying to solve your problems, you don't participate in the WhatsApp group, you don't attend these sessions, you don't watch videos on YouTube. तो सिर्फ अगर आपको लगता है कि पेन पॉइंट आपने लिखा and your problem is solved, then you are mistaken. सिर्फ एक लाइन किसी के बोलने से अगर किसी की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाती, तो then everybody would be solution, you can say, would be having solutions to all their problems. Everybody would be stress and tension free. Action लेना पड़ता है, लेकिन people are not even attending. So how do I even make them realize that this is important? This is important for them. So I keep on repeating, keep on saying, consent form लो, consent form लो. Sir, patient does not sign it. अरे कहाँ, कितनी बारी बोलूं, पेशेंट साइन नहीं करेगा. अगर उसको दीवार के शशि कपूर की तरह उसके पास फॉर्म फेंकोगे ना कि साइन करो भाई, नहीं करेगा साइन वो. यू हैव टू मेक देम अंडरस्टैंड वर्बली, कन्वे एवरीथिंग. आपको मैंने वो डॉक्टर प्रभा मनचंदा वाला केस डाला था in 3 or 4 parts as a blog, that the whole guidelines of Supreme Court are there in that scenario. आपको कन्वे करना है so that patient डरे नहीं, लेकिन आपने इस तरह कन्वे भी करना है कि पेशेंट ये नहीं कहे कि ये तो अननेसेसरी मेरे को ट्रीटमेंट चिपका रहे हैं. It should be just, it should be average. So that means you should know your art, you should be skillful in that. If you're not skillful in that, bargaining होती रहेगी. पेशेंट को लगेगा वैल्यू तो है नहीं है, बिना बात के ओवरचार्ज कर रहे हैं. तो recognize what kind of category of patient he is. A, B, C, D. Amazing, breadwinning, convenience, dangerous. हम लोगों ने ये ना एक बना दिया हुआ, सभी पेशेंट ऐसे होते हैं, सभी पेशेंट सी एंड डी होते हैं. अगर सभी सी एंड डी होते हैं तो वो ए एंड बी कहाँ पे जाते हैं? डॉक्टर कोमल मजूमदार के पास. if I'm just taking an example, you can say in a lighter way. So it's not that people are doing only the big hotshot dentists are doing all those cases. So सबके पास सब cases होते हैं. Even I am having a lot of A and B cases. I do get C and D cases, but the best is to filter them out. I don't want to treat everyone that walks through my door. लोगों को लगता है, बताना पड़ता है, everyone that walks through your door is not your patient. मैं तो खुद बोलता हूँ, you are not my patient. Thank you so much. Bye bye. सत श्री अकाल. Go. ठीक है. So that is the way you treat it. It's not that everyone जो आया वो कुछ ना कुछ करवा के जाएगा. So understand, documentation is the key to kill bargaining in your practice. Set the context right at the start. पेशेंट को पसंद आएगा तो वो करवाएगा, नहीं पसंद आएगा तो वो जाएगा, which is absolutely fine. Which is absolutely fine with me. So query from New Delhi, India. Low walk-in due to lots of clinics around my clinic. Patients bargain a lot. Patients are thankless and take services for granted, not coming on time or missing appointments. Low walk-in due to lots of clinic around my clinic is not the reason. You are less visible is the reason. Understand that. दूसरों पे पिन पॉइंट करने से आपकी गलती कम नहीं हो जाएगी. If you are not actively marketing, you are at fault. If you are not visible to your target audience, you are at fault. If you are not having an authority or credibility, you are at fault. Don't pinpoint other clinics around you. आपका क्या मतलब है कि आपके एरिया में सिर्फ आप ही क्लिनिक खोल के बैठो, आपने कब्जा किया हो उस एरिया पे, आज से 2 साल बाद वहां 10 और क्लिनिक होंगे, so you'll keep on blaming people for that. It doesn't work that ways. By that logic, जो होलसेल क्लोथ मार्केट या उस तरह मार्केट होती है, एक ही कॉम्प्लेक्स में 500 दुकानें होती हैं, वो कहीं 499 यहां से आग लगा दो सब 499 दुकानों को, मैं अकेला यहां पे रहूंगा. It doesn't work that ways. You have to, can say, carve out your viability, your value, your niche and what you are best at, rather than कि आप दूसरों को पिन पॉइंट करो. पेशेंट्स बार्गेन अलॉट. देखो, पहले में आपने क्लिनिक को ब्लेम किया, दूसरे में आप पेशेंट को ब्लेम कर रहे हो. पेशेंट्स बार्गेन अलॉट. Has someone told you that you have not detailed everything in the start? You have not given the clarity to the patient. You were in a hurry to start. You did not make them sign the document. Did anybody say you that? I'm saying you that on your face. I don't know who you are, but I'm saying it on your face. Don't take it personally because I don't know your name. Some of the queries I don't even copy and paste so that my answers may get biased. So I don't even copy paste. My staff does that so that I am very much unbiased in answering without knowing the identity. Sometimes I can correlate because there are certain towns जहां से सिर्फ एक ही dentist है मेरे community में, so I can make it down. But there mostly queries are from Mumbai, Maharashtra and Gujarat. If you can see, उनमें तो इतने सारे शहर हैं, इतने इतने नाम मैंने कल पहली बार ही सुने. So there are there. Then third, patients are thankless. Again, finding the fault with the patient, as if you are the divine force who is on this planet to distribute everything heavenly to your prospective clients. It doesn't work that way, my dear friend. If they take service for granted or not coming on time or missing appointments, just because you have not been able to put up a correct appointment system in place, it takes efforts and times to put that, and it takes discipline to stick to that. Come what may, I am here on in the session on time. I had the roughest of the day possible today. That is why the answers or the main points are missing here. But I still, just because I could not write a few pointers here, just for that reason, I did not miss this session. I said, okay, I'll answer extempore. That's okay with me. But why to miss it? So it takes a lot of discipline to do certain activities each day. Disciplined things are boring and dull. You keep on doing same things again and again, again and again. Some days you feel, what am I doing it for? Whom am I doing it for? You will get those days and feelings. But those are the days you hold your fort in the toughest of the manner. You don't need external forces to motivate you. That is hollow wisdom. मोटिवेशन के लिए हम बोलते हैं स्टाफ को मोटिवेट करो. कैसे? सुबह उठ के अपने स्टाफ को एक व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बनाया हुआ, मैसेज करो, रन लाइक द फास्टेस्ट डियर सो दैट यू कैन से गेट अहेड ऑफ द स्लोएस्ट लाइन, सो दैट you don't fall a prey to that, or run like the fastest lion who runs faster than the slowest deer, so that you don't sleep hungry. And your staff is like, लो सुबह अभी शुरू हो गया फिर से. Motivation is like a fart. You get a high and you give it or release it. The only person who makes money out of motivation lectures is the motivational speaker and no one else. It is all about putting system strategies and teams into practice in the business of dentistry. The problem is we don't regard it as a business also. We feel that it is a noble profession. इसको business कैसे बोल सकते हैं? We are like that. You fall into that trap. Understand that. If you have not been executing your appointment system properly, you may not have been persuasive enough. You may have been conditional कि ठीक है चल यार आज चला देते हैं ऐसे ही. It takes a lot of courage to do same things again and again. As I said, being disciplined is boring. कई बार मुझे लगता है कि why I am getting up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, what for? But yes, certain things need to be done. So we have to do it. It's not about who motivates you, it's about self-motivation. So get motivated self, and rather than pointing, आप एक फिंगर पॉइंट कर रहे हो, तीन आपकी तरफ पॉइंट कर रही हैं. See the direction. You don't realize that if you are pointing one fault in someone, three faults lie with you. So improve your aspects, improve your scenarios, and then start pinpointing faults at others. So I hope I have not been brutal enough, but my intention was not to hurt you if you felt hurt. I'm sorry if you felt so, but my intention was just to show you the mirror, show you the crude reality, which sometimes most of us, people around us, fail to show because they don't want to feel that ये हमारे को बुरा कह गया, ऐसे कह गया. I don't know your identity, so you can rest be assured that I don't make an opinion about you. Okay, so this finishes. I hope you get answer from here. Query number 112 from Surat, Gujarat. The biggest pain point in my practice is that I cannot compromise on the quality of materials and I want to keep my operatory well equipped. Great. Although we do not have to loan money for buying new equipment, we sometimes do not see enough profit. Should I follow my heart and the profits will gradually follow, or should I restrict myself from upgrading my practice? See, the first thing is you don't want to compromise in quality of materials. You want to keep your operatory well equipped. I'll give you a double thumbs up for that. But yes, you need to make sure that you are charging optimally for that. Depending on, if you have not done so far, do your GPM and NPM calculations, whether your procedure using the material that you're using is actually profitable to you or not, or at least has a 45 to 50% GPM carry home. Oh, sorry, 45 to 50% NPM carry home, net profit margin. The GPM in the range of 70 to 80%. So if you don't have to loan money and you are, you can say, finding it tough, or you can say difficult to buy equipment sometimes, the first thing is, before investing, see the ROI potential for that equipment, whether it is giving you enough profit or not. So it is not about the game of heart, it is about the game of brain. Use your brain first, whether this thing has a return for you in terms of money or not, or in how much time will it recover the investment. दूसरी तरफ बोले तो आपके पास उस मशीन के लिए, उस गैजेट के लिए पेशेंट भी हैं कि नहीं है. प्राइमरी थिंग. सम पीपल फाइंड इट अ ग्रेट डिस्प्ले कि अगर हम इन इक्विपमेंट्स को डिस्प्ले पे लगाएंगे तो पेशेंट्स देखेंगे और ग्रेजुअली कहेंगे वाह 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 वाह. उस वाह 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 के लिए हम बहुत सारा कुछ कर देते हैं. सीरियसली, there is so much noise in the outside world. Nobody even cares. Nobody even bothers. I put in a blog of shopkeeper insurance, 4 parts. By chance, I missed 4th part. Did anybody even realize? That was supposed to be 3 weeks ago on a Saturday. I missed that. Of course, it is already there. I was waiting that at least even one of you put it. I'm posting content regularly for the past 90 days. Some days even 2 to 3 pieces of content. Did even anyone notice that I missed? Of course, कई बार मैं late होता हूँ. ठीक है, जैसे संडे वाला मैं ट्यूसडे वेडनेसडे को ब्लॉग डालता हूँ, दैट्स ओके, आई फुलफिल द बैकलॉग इन द सेम वीक, बट वो एक मेरे से मिस हो गया बाई चांस, इट्स नॉट दैट आई डेलिबरेटली डिडंट पोस्ट इट, तो वो मिस हो गया मेरे से, nobody even bothered, nobody cares. So the same logic applies. If you feel that the patients are coming to notice, no, we are living in a distracted world, my dear friend. वी आर लिविंग इन अ डिस्ट्रैक्टेड वर्ल्ड. हम लोगों को पता ही नहीं लगता कितना है. फोन खरीदते हैं फीचर्स देके, ये फीचर मिल जाए तो मैं फोन ले लूं. उस फीचर को हम कभी यूज ही नहीं करते हैं, उसके आधे भी नहीं यूज करते हैं, बट वी वांट टू बाय द लेटेस्ट. सो डोंट फॉलो योर हार्ट. बिजनेस runs from brain. It is not a left brain job, or sorry, a right brain job. Emotional brain, no, I'm sorry. Emotional or heart one, I'm sorry. Work from your brain, think about it. And before upgrading, I'm not saying don't upgrade your practice, but just think about the ROI potential, whether you have the patient for the same or not, and whether it'll be able to recover its investment or not, and what is your plan to recover its investment, since that has come at a premium to you, it has come at a certain cost. What is your plan about raising the charges by doing the treatment of such? If you're doing the same treatment with the latest gadget that you bought at the same charges, I'm not sure whether you are actually making money or not. You are actually decreasing money in depreciation, not having more revenue. You are actually dipping down in your profits. So have that plan also ready कि उस treatment equipment के बाद हम लोगों को अपनी costing कैसे बढ़ानी है, कैसे convey करनी है. अगर वो master plan ready है, go and buy anything that you like. Yes, ROI potential देखना फिर भी. I hope I answer your query. So, query from Valsad, Gujarat, filing ITR, investment in mutual funds. Two perfect topics for my workshop. Please join in the January workshop. That is the answer I can give. Of course. Okay. So, filing ITR, you need to have either, you can say, do it yourself or make your CA do it. But if your CA is doing it fine or not, you need to have the knowledge for that. So, either ways, if you file yourself or even if you track your CA is filing right, you need to have a knowledge of this. So where will you get a knowledge from? Either a CA or any online course or me. The choice is yours. Investment in mutual funds. Investments are required. Investments in mutual funds is not only required. There are all the investments that have to be distributed equally. The debt also needs an exposure. The hybrid needs an exposure. The hedge needs an exposure. And the free emergency fund needs to be in HESBA. And of course, mutual funds and maybe a little bit of stocks if you can afford. These all need an exposure. It's not only about mutual funds. So think about it before you can say jump into these things. But it's good to have a knowledge about all these things. If you don't have this knowledge, please join my workshop. I'll be detailing it in the end. So query number 114 from Surat, Gujarat. My main dilemma, okay, dilemma spellings are wrong. My main dilemma is balancing between earning and investment. That is, I started my own practice just a year back, so I'm hesitant to charge more even though I really want to. Though I cannot work with low quality materials, hence the whole year just passed in paying bills and rents with very less profit. So I want to learn managing that. बहुत ही सरल सवाल पूछा है आपने. सो इसके लिए आप मेरे YouTube चैनल पे जाएं, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी करके सर्च करें. यू विल गेट अ सीरीज ऑफ 5 वीडियोस. They'll give you a complete idea of what profit is, how do you treat business of dentistry in a profitable way, and learn about the GPM and the NPM. आपके प्रोसीजर पे आपकी कॉस्टिंग कितनी है. You will be shocked if you get a negative return, क्योंकि आपने बोला with very less profit, वो भी आपके ओवरहेड के चार्जेस हैं जो आपके हाथ में है. अगर वो वेरी लेस इज 10 to 20%, देन वो भी आपका नेगेटिव है. तो आप देखिए आपके प्रोसीजर की जो कॉस्ट आएगी, आपका एनपीएम माइनस में आएगा, या इट विल बी क्लोज टू 1 to 5 to 10%. सो इफ यू गेट दैट, you can get in touch with me. I hope that you watch this video whenever it goes online, because I don't know whether you're present in this room of 11 people or not. So learn to manage that. That is the best way to do that. See, the thing I want to mention here is I have upgraded those steps in dentistry as a business. We hated to call even dentistry as a business. Then I started calling dentistry as a business, introduce income and expenses, introduce the concept of charging in the first lockdown. In the second lockdown, I introduced the concept of GPM and NPM. these are all my creations. These are all, you can say my lockdown children, I would say, lockdown children of my brain, I would say. And then in, not in the third lockdown, but in the third year after COVID, I actually, you can say, broke down the business of dentistry into 10 nuts and bolts. Dentistry has those 10 nuts and bolts, and if you are not aware of it, then of course we need to be sure that if, even if one of the nut and bolt is not in order, we are not doing, or we are not running business in a healthy and a successful way. So you have started with the basic part. First, understand dentistry is a business. Get a knowledge of profit, get a knowledge of GPM and NPM. And of course, life is a learning curve. Keep on learning. So I hope you get an answer to your query. Okay. So query from 115 from Tanda Urmar, Hoshiarpur, Punjab. Great. Wow. It's a very, very small, I wouldn't say village, but a Nagar Council kind of a city. I have two patients from Tanda Urmar also, whose parents live here. She's a female, and her daughter. उनके पेरेंट्स यहाँ रहते हैं maternal side, and she's married in Hoshiarpur in Tanda Urmar only. She comes to me for treatment whenever she visits her parents. So how to manage clinic and personal cash, paying good amount as tax. That's very good to hear. If you are paying good amount as tax, make that money, जो आपके पास tax free money है, make that money work for you, because you have more of white income at your disposal. You can actually show more money. You can show more, you can say, have more investments. If you're paying good amount as tax, that means you're earning very well. That means you can easily invest a good amount. I don't know your age, but you can easily put in huge amounts, distributing it nicely amongst all the sectors, giving them a realistic exposure, and not blocking every money or every penny in stocks, cryptocurrency, or mutual funds. It should be evenly distributed between debt, hedge, hybrid, and other, you can say, proportions. How to manage clinic and personal cash? There are two ways to manage it. So either you take a fixed salary and let it that be the clinic profits, or you as a proprietor can take, you can say, plow back your profits into that and take the rest of the money as your profits, as the personal profits. Both the ways are good. So but then distinguish between clinic cash and personal cash, expenses are two different things. You may, you can say, manage cash in the way I told you, the two ways, but when it comes to expenses, never mix and match personal accounts with professional accounts, or business accounts with personal accounts. Keep the expenses separate. It will make your life a lot easy, lot easy. This year I have, as I have been telling, that I've been doing all the, you would say, professional expenses from using digital mode, as I've been telling every one of you. Even cleaning a jhadu, broom, 50, 60, 70 rupees, jitne ka bhi aata hai, even that is bought digitally with the QR code or whatever way we can. So, and this year I actually improvised myself and did have done almost 90 to 95% of my personal expenses also digitally, so that I keep a track of that, where the leaking buckets are. Yes, I was sometimes over gracious and spending personal money, whichever I had left over or allocated myself. So just to allocate and budget it properly, I'm doing that as well, digital way. So people would laugh at me and say it कि वहीं तो हम लोग कैश के एडजस्टमेंट करते हैं या ब्लैक मनी के एडजस्टमेंट करते हैं. Absolutely fine. Your perspective. It is not how I look at things, because I know certain patterns that I follow, and I keep on improving each year. And I believe that that is the way to go. So I hope I answer your query regarding both. Wow, Punjab query again. Query from Abohar, Punjab. Not able to manage, increase my, okay. The 9 p.m. alarm has went off. So this is the last query for today. So not able to increase my patient number in spite of giving best treatment and advice. Very upset with those dental surgeons who charge very less, or compromise on treatment, but patient does not understand the difference. Sir, please educate, sir or ma'am, whosoever you are, please educate your target audience. Now, target audience does not mean the ones who come to you in your clinic. They may be present online. Abhor is a relatively smaller place in Punjab, a town only, a city only. But you can target local population through your educational activities. You can do a lot of offline activities telling them the difference of good and bad, not necessarily pinpointing. Tell them what difference does it make between an authentic and a substandard product which is used. Of course, don't equate to the extent of equating कि ये cancer बन जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा. Don't equate it like that. But yes, try to do it in your target audience where you can educate them regarding the same. So if you are not able to, you can say, increase your patient number, maybe you are visible less. In a city like a Bohor, you can go in for an offline, you can say, collaboration, offline networking, go to whatever places you can to increase your visibility. And of course, the online can be an icing on the cake. As a doctor, we are allowed to advertise in a limited manner. You can take use of that using the social media marketing and social media advertising, which is comparatively dirt cheap. You can specifically target those population in your area because everyone is using phone, everyone is using internet, everyone is you can say present online. So you can specifically target through performance marketing, and performance marketing in smaller places is so much, you can say, like an arrow or a pinpointed thing. It works wonders. But yes, you have to back that up with your organic presence where you're actually educating your audience. For that you have to शर्म का पर्दा उठाना पड़ेगा और आपको दुनिया के सामने आना पड़ेगा और अपने आप को दिखाना पड़ेगा. मुंह दिखाई नहीं मिलेगी लेकिन फिर भी दिखाना पड़ेगा. So it's like that. So I hope I have been able to give you some piece of advice pertaining to that. So guys, this finishes today's session at query number 116 from Abor, Punjab. We shall start from query number 117, Maharashtra, tomorrow. Same time, I would be traveling tomorrow. Let's hope if I get good connection, although it is there, but if I get a good connection, I will be present online. But if I'm not, I'll notify in the community. 99% I would be. So this is the, again, this is the session number 9, webinar number 270, and this is in the evening, 271 episode. Talking about, if you want to come on board, still you can, although the registration has closed down on the Christmas. But if you want to come on board, please feel free to come because the next workshop happens likely not after 6 months, probably much after that, because we have two budgets in the year 2024. So in January, it will be an interim budget, January 31st or 1st Feb, will be, and then there will be the full budget. And whatever changes are made, usually are made in the full budget. So if I keep a workshop, I'll keep it after the budget only. So probably finance workshop is not going to happen before August. मान के चलो. तो if you want to miss out, अब जब हो जाएगी workshop तो February में इतने लोग करेंगे. Sir, when is the next finance workshop happening? This is the workshop happening, which is there. The opportunities come before you. And if you don't want to take advantage of that, it's your choice. Absolutely fine with it, because then he is not. So what is your homework for today? So I hope you have some carry home points from what I have delivered in the past 90 minutes or so. So post your 3 to 5 takeaways in the WhatsApp group where you are to help your fellow colleagues develop the trait of giving back to the society. You can post on social media as well. You can tag me, do it right away after the session. Cement your learnings. Writing is the best form. I'm sure there would be ample. Social media, har jagah, same ID hai mera, so you won't find an issue. YouTube channel, same ID. Facebook group, same ID. WhatsApp, most of you are member. If you are not a member, send me a request. I'll add you. And of course, do send me a feedback. Bookers and bookbad both will be welcome in equal measure. And I stop the share for questions if there are any from you in the chat box first, and then I take up. Okay. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, Dr. Ramchandra, if your query was there, if I answered it, thank you so much. So I answered Dr. Bhavana's query. So what is your opinion about, Dr. Divya asks, what is your opinion about choosing FlexiCap mutual fund? Absolutely fine. FlexiCap is a balanced mutual fund. Well, in the sense, it has an exposure to equity as well, debt as well, and sometimes you can say a hybrid proportion as well. So it depends upon, you can say, some of us don't want a small cap exposure, but then the large cap, the mid cap, and the small cap are in a decent exposure in some of the flexi caps. So we believe we can't take an outright risk against the small cap mutual funds. So a flexi cap is a decent way to hide that emotion and get into the you can say flexi cap category, which can help you. You can say ride over the and take the advantage of the small caps as well. So a decently good option, I would say, flexi cap. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Amit says, thanks for great guidance. We'll take all actions. Thank you. I hope your queries are also there. Okay, great. So, Dr. Adit, thank you, sir, for guiding and shaking from slumber and making aware to live in the reality. We'll work forward. Thank you, Dr. Aarti. Thank you, Dr. Nrupa. Thank you, Dr. Divya. Thank you, Dr. Bhavna. Thank you, Dr. Bindu. Thank you, Dr. Divya. So, any queries, please feel free to unmute yourself. Just check out the FB group as well. Okay. Okay, nil here. So any queries, feel free to mute yourself and switch on your camera and please ask your queries if there are. If not, then we are done for the day. Pretty long day. Started at 3:15 a.m. and we'll end at 9:15 or 9:30, whatever. And had a real, you can say, busy day in the clinic. Some of the people still feel that, sir, अब तो आप यही काम करते होगे. So many people met me in Exporent in last Friday. सर अब तो आप यही काम करते हैं. मैं बॉस ये काम करता होता तो मैं संडे को सेशन लेता और टाइम पे लेता, दिन में लेता. मैं क्यों सुबह शाम ले रहा हूँ? बिकॉज दिन में मेरा भी क्लिनिक होता बॉस. आई स्टिल वर्क. आई लव टू वर्क. Work for money or not, that is the secondary question for me right now from the clinic point of view only. But yes, there are certain things that give you joy and pleasure, and dentistry is still one of them, which gives me a lot of joy and a pleasure to do certain kind of cases. And trust me, I had overpacked my schedule by mistake because I was supposed to travel tomorrow. So I was not sure whether I'll be able to do that or not. It's just God's grace. मैंने तो किया ही नहीं. भगवान ने आके काम किया मेरे क्लिनिक में. आज कैसे मेरे को भी नहीं मालूम. So I was sitting and sleeping. I hope God was working in my clinics through someone. So the variety of things that were there. So thank you, Dr. Sabyasachi. And okay, guys, जो रात को आते हैं वो सुबह भी उठ जाया करो. सुबह भी उठ जाया करो. सुबह भी पौने 7 हम लोग आते हैं. सुबह 2-3 लोग होते हैं. I don't mind that because my why is to finish all the queries, to give the solutions and put these videos in queue so that whenever you can say these things boomerang and they get back to you and they'll help. Thank you, Dr. Divya. Pleasure is all mine. Bye-bye. Take care. See you in the morning with episode number 9, web number 270 of the Pain Point Yep series.